You took my mind out of space, something that I can't erase. Looks like I ran into trouble. Wish I just stayed on that night, mixing tequila with Sprite, and I had more than a couple. Now every time I think of you, I smile. Even if I'm more than a million miles, you make me smile. You make me smile. You make me smile. You make me smile. It's getting way out of hand. This was not part of a plan. Tell me, where did you come from? It feels like just the other day when we had nothing to say, but now you keep me away. Now every time I think of you, I smile. Even if we're more than a million miles, no, you make me smile. You make me smile. You make me smile. You smile. You make me smile. Run away in the day, where you been? I love how we don't have to pretend. Not a game, just the way that it feels. You love it when you get me jealous. I was somebody thinking about me. Loving me halfway, is that a bad thing? You're always seeing one, two, many faces. Your loving always comes and goes in phases. But I don't even mind. I'm not your only, but you're mostly mine. You're always seeing one, two, many faces. Give me time in the night for a fix, until you gotta fix me again. I guess I'm losing. Dynamite, think I might let it slip. Am I for real or just a habit? I was somebody thinking about me. Loving me halfway, is that a bad thing? You're always seeing one, too many faces. Your loving always comes and goes in phases. But I don't even mind. I'm not your only, but you're mostly mine. You're always seeing one, too many faces.
God is everywhere, even in a kiss. So why do you think I don't know when you're lying? Know when you're trying to hide how you feel from me. You hate it when I stare. You say you can't resist. So why do you keep your secrets alive? It means to let them die. Confess all your sins to me. My eyes are like the lie machine. I know you're trying to hide from me. I don't know why you lie to me. I wish you would confide in me. My eyes are like the lie machine. I know you're trying to hide from me. I don't know why you lie to me. I wish you would confide in me. My eyes are like the lie machine. I know you're trying to hide from me. I don't know why you lie to me. I wish you would confide in me. You're the only one to make it right. I don't really know what else to say. Now you really want to make it right. I don't wanna make a huge mistake. My eyes are like the lie machine. I know you're trying to hide from me. I don't know why you lie to me. I wish you would confide in me.
You're listening to Chill Your Mind Radio.
I
thinking I would miss your simple touch. Wanna get some more time from you, love. You are incredible.
For more music,
I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fist. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. I want something just like this. I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, the testaments they told, the moon and its eclipse, and Superman unrolls a suit before he lived. But I'm not the kind of person that it fits. She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can miss. I want something just like this. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this.
With so many of us at home,
morning.
we're shopping online more.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. Alright. Good morning.
What a great day. What an amazing day, too. Good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou. Live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. Is today Tuesday? Yes. Yes, today is Tuesday. All day today. All day today is Tuesday. So that's good, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, how y'all doing? Welcome to the morning show with Uncle Lou and BBD. BBD will be calling in here in just a few minutes. I know you are all anxiously awaiting his arrival. Don't worry. He'll be here soon. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, what's going on with you guys? Nasty weather here today. Rainy, dreary looking. I don't know. I haven't even looked at the weather. I don't know if it's supposed to do that all day. I hope not. Lou Jr.'s got his second soccer game tonight. 7 o'clock? 7:15, I think the game is today. The games are always either at 6 or 7:15. I think today is 7:15, and then Thursday is 6 o'clock. Again, I think. Anyway, so hopefully it quits raining. I want that game to get canceled. Isn't that the worst when you were a kid and one of your and whatever you played, baseball, football, soccer, whatever, the game gets canceled? It's terrible. There was one year he played, I don't know, it seems like this was a couple of years ago maybe. Something like 4 of his first 5 games got rained out. It was wild. It might have been a spring league he was in. And sometimes you get those periods in the spring where it just seems like it rains nonstop or whatever for a couple of weeks. It was like that. And like 4 of his first 5 games got canceled. I felt so bad for him. That's just the worst. That's just the worst. And they're actually pretty good here. They'll let them play in the rain, as long as you can see. Now, if it's like pouring, so bad you can't see your hand in front of your face type of thing, they'll call it off. But they don't cancel it just because of a little bit of rain. They actually have a lightning detector at the soccer complex. They have this big building in the middle or whatever where the concession stand and the bathrooms and the storage rooms and all that are. And on the very top of that building, there's like a lightning detector. And if it detects lightning within a certain range, I don't know what the range is. 3 miles, 5 miles, whatever the range is. If it detects lightning within that radius, this alarm goes off and you have to clear the fields. That's for games, practice, whatever. He's had a couple of practices this year where it just poured. I had to sit in the car a couple of times. I pull up to the gate there and sit in the car and watch him. It was raining, so I had to turn windshield wipers on, watch the damn practice. So they're pretty good about letting them play if it's just raining. But if there's any lightning or if it's just pouring down rain, like where you can't see, like maybe it becomes a safety issue, they'll call it off. But he's played several games in the rain, lots of practices in the rain. But, of course, as a parent, it's no fun sitting in the rain and watching. And if it's a game, I'm not going to sit in the car. I'm going to march my happy ass up there to the thing and sit out in the damn rain and watch them, because that's what you have to do when you're a parent. It's in the book. Some of you aren't parents. You don't know what the book is. I can't tell you. It's ultra secret until you become a parent, and then you're given the book. Can't tell you who gives it to you. That's part of the secret. But it's in the book. You do have to sit in the rain and watch your kids play. When you become a grandparent, though, they give you a different book. You don't have to sit in the rain if you're a grandparent. I found that out. I don't have the grandparent book. I just have found that out, though. Anyway, can you set up a tailgate tent at the field? You could, yeah. It's a huge soccer complex here. It's nice, too. They do a good job keeping it up and everything. It's a huge place. Slim Shady, good morning to you, sir. He says, what's the line on Bet Now of Chess being a no-show? I don't know what the line is. The odds of him being a no-show are 100%, though. He's not coming on. But he at least did tell me ahead of time. I actually don't know who's coming on today. If BVD calls in, you know what? Sometimes BVD sends me a text message about, hey, this is going on or that or this. No y'all seen BVD in the comments this morning? Might be stuck with Uncle Lou this morning. I don't know. Did BVD tell me he wasn't going to be here today and I forgot? I don't think so, but it's possible. There has been a time or two where I've forgotten things, and though it doesn't happen very often, it does happen from time to time. Did you guys watch any Monday Night Football last night? I didn't watch much of the first game. I was busy, not for any particular reason. I would have liked to have watched some of the first game. I just couldn't. My daughter had to be at dance at 7 last night. Had to be picked up at 9. Had dinner. So anyway, it just didn't work out that I was able to watch any of the first game. I did watch a little bit of the first half of the second game and a little bit of the second half. When I turned it off in the second half, it was still 7-7. Late in the third quarter, Titans ended up winning 16-14. And to be fair, because I told you guys what would happen, I told you I had to brag last week about how good I did on Bet Now. I usually don't bet the NFL until late in the year for a couple of different reasons. But anyway, like an idiot, I put $25. I should have known better than to bet on any Tennessee team. But I put $25 on Tennessee -3, the Titans -3, and they won by 2. This is what I'm telling you how hard it is to hit these damn things. 1 point, 1 point would have been a tie, which means I at least would have got my $25 back. 2 more points. That's it. Just 2 more points. And The Titans kicker missed how many field goals? Missed extra point. You see what I'm saying here? It will drive you up the wall. You start messing around with these games and these missed extra points. This was what was happening. For those of you who are on the Patreon page and were on the stream on Saturday during the Georgia Tech Florida State game, I had Georgia Tech pick to win that game straight up on the money line at plus 3.5 times my money. And they kept missing kick after kick after kick after kick after kick, and I was about to absolutely rip my head off my shoulders. That's it gets very frustrating. It gets very frustrating. But yeah, shout out to the Tennessee Titans kicker. So if there's any Tennessee Titans fans in the comment section, I'm sorry, but I'm holding you all personally responsible. One of you needs to come off $25. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat too, Slim. I appreciate that. No football today, Tuesday. I don't know if we're ever going to have Tuesday football this year. You know, some years later on in the season, the MAC plays games on Tuesdays. One game a week, 2 games a week sometimes, whatever, with the bye week in there too, so they're not playing a game 3 days after another game. But some, you know, a lot of times during a normal year, you've got like a MAC game on Tuesday, some nobody game on Wednesday, a couple of college football games and an NFL game on Thursday, an ACC or a Pac-12 game on Friday, college games all day Saturday, NFL games all day Sunday, an NFL game Sunday night, and an NFL game Monday night. So there gets to a point where you've got football on 7 nights a week usually. Don't know if that's going to be the case this year. We might not get the Tuesday, Wednesday games this year. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. The Big Ten still voting tomorrow. That hasn't changed. If it does change, I'm pretty sure we'll all know at the same time. But as for now, the Big Ten constantly voting tomorrow, all the time. Remember yesterday they were voting tomorrow? Well, guess what? It's tomorrow, and now they're voting tomorrow. They're voting tomorrow every time. The date that seems to be being batted around the most is October 17th. You know, at first it was like, we're not playing, wait till next year. Then it was like, well, maybe we can play around Thanksgiving. And then everybody said, well, if you don't start till Thanksgiving, you won't be considered a part of this season. You won't be included in the college football playoff discussion, so, you know, do what you want. Then they said, well, fine, we'll start October 10th then. No, that wasn't good enough. Now back to October 17th now, and apparently that's the last day. October 17th is the last Saturday that the Big Ten can start and be included in the current college football season for bowl and playoff purposes. So we'll see. I don't know. They have to have 8 or 9. I think it's 8. Might be 9. It's either 8 or 9. They have to have 8 or 9 yes votes in order to play. And then, you know, the schools that vote no, they can't force those schools to play. I mean, you can never force a school to play, but they have to have 8. I think it's 8. Maybe it's 9. 60% of the league has to vote yes for them to move forward with a season. So there was 3 yes votes originally. 3. So you need 5 or 6 more. You need 5 or 6 schools to change their mind. That's what you need. Yeah, well, the thing is, Neo, yeah, it's only a month away. They need to decide. Now, they have been practicing the entire time. They haven't stopped practicing. The Big Ten commissioner is not the one that canceled the season. The Big Ten commissioner did not cancel the season. The Big Ten commissioner screwed up public relations wise. He did a poor job communicating the process of what had happened and all that kind of stuff. I think he should get fired, but he's not the one that canceled the season. So to say that he killed himself with the original call to cancel the season, I disagree there. Dago, don't make stupid comments about COVID. The Big Ten commissioner is not the one that canceled the season. What else is in the news? Texas Tech is ate up with coronavirus now. They're the latest team. Of course, Virginia Tech's already had to postpone its first 2 games of the season. Texas Tech. Where did I read this? No, that's the same article about the Big Ten meeting tomorrow every day. Where's this Texas Tech article? Here we go. Texas Tech. Five Texas Tech football players tested positive for COVID-19 last week, bringing the team's total cases to 75 since the players returned to campus. So 75 players don't have it now, but 75 of Texas Tech's players have had it. 5 currently have it. This brings up another point I wanted to make too. 6 cases involving football players remain active, according to the school, which also announced it has 22 other active cases involving student athletes. Blah blah blah. Where's the part I wanted to? Oh, here you go. Remember Texas Tech played something called Houston Baptist last week and almost lost, which is embarrassing. And what I'm about to tell you is not an excuse for that totally, because Texas Tech is a Power 5 team and Houston Baptist is Houston Baptist. But 12 players for Texas Tech were out on Saturday. 12. Be careful betting these games. It's always tricky to bet the games, but these schools aren't announcing these things. Why tip your hand? I get it. I understand. Why would you want the other team to know that, these 4 or 5 players can't play? That gives a competitive advantage to the other team. So I understand why they don't announce these things, but it makes it hard to know heading into a game what exactly might happen. But Texas Tech had to sit 12 players out of their game. If you go back to the Miami UAB game last week, UAB didn't announce until like 5 minutes before the game that 4 of its players had to stay behind in Alabama and were unable to travel because of COVID. So it makes it adds an extra layer of difficulty to trying to gamble on these games this year, because you don't know what version of a team is going to show up from week to week, And obviously, the number of players that have to miss a game is important, as well as who the players are, right? 3 or 4 third stringers may not have that big of an impact, right? But a couple of starters and a couple of backups, that could be a big deal. Teams rotate a lot of players in and out. The term backup today doesn't really mean the same thing it meant 20 years ago. Maybe at a few positions, quarterback, but an offensive line, maybe. Very few teams rotate offensive linemen. But just think about whatever team you're a fan of, right? How many defensive linemen rotate in and out of a game? 6, 7 sometimes? You see what I'm saying here? Now, technically, 3 or 4 of those guys are backups. But they may play as many or more snaps as the starter. And you've got a lot of players that are specialist players. You've got run-stopping edge guys, and you've got pass-rushing edge guys, right? Georgia's had this in the past. Georgia's had certain outside linebackers or edge guys that only play on third and long or third and medium. They don't play on first and 10 or second and 2. So the term backup doesn't necessarily mean the same thing it used to. So you have a team that's missing 5, 6 players even if only 1 or 2 are technically starters. If the other 3 or 4 are significant contributors, I mean, this could be a problem for a lot of teams. We all like to look at, Alabama and Clemson and Oklahoma and Ohio State and Georgia, even these teams that have recruited within the top 5 year after year after year after year. Oh, their depth. Okay, but not every team is like that. I'll give you a good example here. A team like Kentucky. Now, I think Kentucky's a pretty good team this year, or could be a pretty good team this year. I do. I get laughed at for saying that, but I think Kentucky has the potential to be a pretty good team this year. Now, pretty good is a relative term this year because you only play in 10 games and they're all conference games. But I think Kentucky could be a pretty good team this year. Kentucky can't survive 4 or 5 players out for COVID. They can't. They don't have the depth on that on their roster. They don't. They don't have the depth of an Alabama. Clear. I know I'm pointing out the obvious here, and that's an extreme example, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Certain teams, you can't afford to have 4, 5, 6 players out. And Texas Tech is a team that's in that category, in my opinion. I don't know who these 12 players were that were out. I don't know if any of them were starters. I don't know if they were all starters, all backups, all walk. I have no idea. But 12 is a big number. Chances are a few of those players would have played some, right? So it makes it real hard to try to figure out from week to week what's going to happen. And so Virginia Tech, I think Virginia Tech is actually cleared to finally start practicing again either today or tomorrow. But basically for 2 weeks, Virginia Tech's done nothing because they had so many coronavirus cases on the team. And Texas Tech, it looks like now the latest has had a bunch of them. I've seen a couple of comments here in the comment section about the number of people in Athens, Georgia, that have tested positive. And again, I don't know if any of the players are positive or not. Now, you know the thing about Kirby Smart, he's not going to tell you anything he doesn't have to. Period. Kirby Smart thinks every single thing related to the football program is a government secret. He's not giving any information out, period. None. He doesn't even give out regular injury information. There's been players for Georgia over the last 3 or 4 years who were hurt or injured during the season and didn't play. And so, of course, you get asked about that after the game. Every single injured player Georgia has ever had is close to coming back next week. Constantly. Never ends. I guarantee you if somebody asks him about JT Daniels being cleared for contact, Kirby will say he's close, probably be ready next week. And then in 3 weeks, he's going to say the same thing. Oh, I love Kirby. Yeah, Kirby's a great coach, but nobody's perfect. He's an offensive idiot, for one. Kirby's got no business anywhere near an offensive meeting or personnel decisions when it comes to offense. I can tell you that. Is BVD alive? He hasn't texted me. No, that's okay. The thing is, I don't even know who's supposed to be on the show today because BVD handles that. So, I'm not sure. I hope he's okay, though. I watched a lot of his show last night, but not all of it. He didn't mention anything last night about not feeling well or anything, did he? What's up, JoJo? Good morning to you too, sir. Unfortunately, BVD's not here yet this morning. No, Mike Bridges, I'm not Fazoli's. Like Fazoli's calls Ballard every day to find out why he's not at work yet. I don't do that here. BVD skip town, it's bookie collection day. Texas is back. All right. Judge Juno, good morning to you, sir. Sorry about that. Michael Reiser, thank you for hitting the PayPal link, sir. I'll post it one time in the comments, too, if anybody doesn't mind taking the extra step so that the morning show gets 100% of your donation without YouTube taking half. You can hit the PayPal link. You can leave a note in there, too, and I'll be happy to read it. Looks like Mike Reiser is back to his joke of the day, which is good. I missed that yesterday, Mr. Reiser. But he says, what do you call a cheap circumcision? This hurts to even say, man. What are you doing? What do you call a cheap circumcision? A rip-off. Oh. Yikes. Mike Reiser. Some jokes you can feel. I felt that. Patreon charges a payment processing fee. That's fair. I don't have any problem or issues with Patreon. Patreon treats me great. They do take a fee to process the transactions every month, but it's very small. And that's fair. Patreon's got to have a way of making money too. So does YouTube. But YouTube taking 50% of a direct donation is robbery, in my opinion. I don't think that's right. They already take 50% of the ad revenue that a channel generates, and I'm okay with that because it takes a lot of work on the back end to secure advertising deals. I mean, and they've got millions of them. When you click on YouTube and a video plays, an ad plays or whatever. So I don't mind that they take 50% of the ad revenue because there's a lot of work involved in setting all that up on the back end. There's no work involved for YouTube in John just donating $5. None. But YouTube's going to take half of that, and that's not right. John says, do you want me to get Keith up? We were up late watching independent films last night. John, of course, this is a troll account of BVD's roommate, and so if you know, I'm not going to say why that comment is funny. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But good morning, John. Yay. Waikiki says, what is Colorado State's COVID-19 numbers? I have no idea. I can try to look it up. I'm not sure if this is a trick question or... Not even sure why you would be interested. Do y'all play them or something? Colorado State. Do you mean like the state of Colorado? Or do you mean the football team? Well, it's not even tax vodka drinker because they take their 50% and then I still have to pay taxes on the remaining 50%. So, because Uncle Sam's going to get theirs every time, so. Waikiki, let me know what you were asking. Are you asking for the state of Colorado or the football team Colorado State? Let me know. There's not a whole lot of news, college football news today outside of what we've already talked about. Now the front page article on ESPN, the football team. Okay, I'll see if I can find that in just a second, Waikiki. The headline article on ESPN's college football homepage is a story about Georgia and Florida and who, keys to winning the division for each team. The SEC East preview, Georgia and Florida battle for a division on the rise. SEC East is full of storylines in 2020. Florida and Georgia have college football playoff hopes, while Tennessee and Kentucky are fighting to take that next step. And how hot is Will Muschamp's seat in Columbia? I have a feeling most of this article will be obvious. Probably be no news in there. Pac-12 talking about coming back mid-November. That would be too late to be included in this season, which I think really only hurts Oregon, and maybe Southern Cal. I don't think Southern Cal was good enough to be a playoff team this year. Maybe a New Year's Six bowl. And I know people are laughing, but there are certain teams every year that I think are better than what people are projecting, and there's certain teams I think are worse than what people are projecting. And the same for you too, I'm sure. You look at these polls and you say that team's overrated, this team's not ranked high enough, that kind of thing. I think Southern Cal is going to be better this year than a lot of people thought. I could, under a normal season, if you go back a couple of months and look at their original 12-game schedule, I could see them winning 10 games. I think they're going to be pretty good this year, but it looks like they won't start playing in time to be included in this year's season. An Ohio State cornerback has opted out. Here's what's going to be interesting to me. This will be interesting to me. I'm going to use a certain player here as an example because he's been one of the loudest and most vocal. But there's a lot of players that this could apply to. A lot of players had a lot to say about the Big Ten's decision to postpone or cancel the season. If the Big Ten comes out today or tomorrow and says, we're going to play, we're going to start October 17th, we're going to play 8 games, and Justin Fields comes out and says, I'm opting out to prepare for the draft. Now, 99% of the comments I've seen from people about players who have chose to opt out have been positive. I support that decision. It's his right to do that. Whatever, that kind of thing. I don't know if Justin Fields would get that same benefit if he chose to opt out. Now, I don't think he will because he's been so loud about wanting to play. I'm just using him as an example. But there's a lot of other players that are like that. Potential first-round picks, some very high. Justin Fields is projected to be a top 5 pick, the second quarterback taken. So depending on who finishes the worst in the NFL this year and which teams need quarterbacks in the top 5, he could go 2 or he could go anywhere between 2 and probably 5. What if the Big Ten comes out today and says, we're going to start playing October 17th, 8-game schedule, conference only. It will be included in this season. All the teams will be eligible for bowls, New Year's 6 games, and playoffs. And an hour later, Justin Fields puts out a press release saying he's opting out to prepare for the NFL. I think he would get hammered. Speaking of opting out, someone opted back in. Dago, Goose, Tiger Cat, J Rizzle Drizzle, all my corn doggers. What is this? This is like the opt-in hokey pokey. Remember that defensive tackle a couple of weeks ago opted out for the NFL? People said, oh no, my God. First Jamar Chase, now this guy. Now he's opting back in now. What's going on? LSU defensive lineman Farrell expected to opt back in. Now, how many times are you allowed to do that? Now, I guess when he opted out, he kept going to school. I know this is a strange thought, but don't some football players actually attend classes and stuff? So, and don't you have to? So, I'm assuming when he opted out, he remained a student. Surely he didn't just miss a month's worth of classes and then come back like nothing's wrong. What's going on here? Did the Texas guy come back? It was a running back, wasn't it? No, it was a defensive back. It was a defensive back. That was weird. That was weird. Guy got mad, said he wasn't playing enough, so he quit in the middle of the game. Did y'all hear about this? Texas guy? Played a ton his freshman year. Played a little bit less his sophomore year. Now he's a junior, and he's playing even less. So he just said, screw it. I think it was the third quarter. He said, forget this. I'm done. I'm not standing around over here. You should be playing me more. Dude, quit. Hadn't seen a player pull that move since Jalen. Remember when Jalen Hurd refused to go in a game against South Carolina? That was great. That was amazing because people were actually watching that game. No one was watching the Texas game. There's 2 reasons no one watched the Texas game. Who can tell me what they are? There's 2 reasons nobody watched the Texas game. What are they? Yep. Longhorn Network, that's one. No, it wasn't on pay-per-view. Even worse, Longhorn Network. The Longhorn Network is available to less people than pay-per-view. Number 1, it's because it was on the Longhorn Network. That's number 1. Number 2, they played UTEP. No one was watching that. No one was going to watch that. So in that respect, the guy got lucky. No one saw it. That Tennessee-South Carolina game, literally everyone was watching. I don't know if y'all remember. It's hard to believe because Tennessee's been so bad for so long. Tennessee was winning the SEC East at that time. And this was in November. Okay, this was at the end of the year. Tennessee had beat Georgia and Florida that year. Hard to believe, but Tennessee did beat Georgia and Florida in 2016. They were first place in the East. All they had to do was beat either South Carolina or Vandy, and they would have won the East. They go to Columbia, South Carolina, to play a night game. It's not like they were getting blown out. It was a close game. Jalen Hurd said, "Screw it, I'm not going in," and everyone saw it. Everyone was watching that game. It was on ESPN. Everybody was watching, and Jalen Hurd's on the sideline shaking his head to the coaches. No, I'm not going in there. No, you go in there. I was like, he's telling Lyle, he's telling Butch Jones, he's telling Lyle, no, you go in there, Lyle. I'm not taking my happy ass in there. You go in there. And dude quit in the middle of a game for a team that was winning the division for the first time since Jimmy originally cracked corn. That's how long it had been. Actually, at that point, it had been like 8 or 9 years. Since that's it. It had only been 8 or 9. When did Tennessee last win the East? 07, 06. So it had been 10 years, 8 or 9 years. And Jalen Hurd, Tennessee fans hate Jalen Hurd. You can't find a Tennessee fan today that will say anything good about Jalen Hurd. And I get it. I would probably feel that way too about a Georgia player who did that, who quit under those exact same circumstances. I would probably feel the same way. Jalen Hurd was 10 carries away, maybe, from becoming Tennessee's all-time leading rusher. All-time. He definitely would have become Tennessee's all-time leading rusher had he finished that season. He may have done it in the South Carolina game. If not, it would have been the next week. It was very close. I can look the numbers up. It was very close. So it wasn't even a situation where, like at Texas, where the guy just got passed up on the depth chart. There was just better players. Jalen Hurd, listen, we still give Butch Jones, Lyle, hell, don't we? Because he sat Alvin Kamara on the bench for 2 years. Remember? But Jalen, and that's when Jalen Hurd was there. But Jalen Hurd was no slouch, is what I'm saying. Now, that was a terrible thing he did. Quitting on your team like that in the middle of a game, that's unacceptable to me. I don't even like when they quit before the bowl game. You guys know that. So you can imagine what I feel about a player who quits in the middle of a game. But first of all, you can't hardly find a Tennessee fan that'll even talk about Jalen Hurd anymore. And if you do, it's all negative. Or it's all in relation to how he should have been behind Alvin Kamara. They leave out the part that says Jalen Hurd was like 50 yards away from becoming Tennessee's all-time leading rusher. All time. Travis Henry, Travis Stevens, Jamal Lewis. The Cobweb duo they had back in the 90s. Who remembers that? Tennessee had 2 running backs on the team one year in the 90s. One of them's last name was Cobb. The other one's last name was Webb. Cobweb. Hey, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, they lost their first game last Thursday. It was either 6-4 or 7-4. I can't remember. But Lou Jr. played well. He scored 3 goals. Nobody knows where BBD is. I hope he's okay. Did anyone try to call him or anything? I'll text him after the show. Yeah, but Einhorn is Finkel, though. So you have to keep that in mind, too, also. Have y'all looked at the schedule of games this week? Not good. Not good at all. I mean, even compared to last week. And I get the whole, the football season doesn't start until the SEC starts playing. I'm a football fan. There's plenty of good games typically within the ACC and the Big 12. I know. I mean, I'm not trying to pump them up, but, you know, I'm a college football fan. There's players in each of those leagues I like watching. Boy, the games this week are bad. The games this week are really bad. Let's go over the list of games. They're not good. Miami-Louisville is definitely the best game of the week. At least that's two ranked teams. Is that the first ranked versus ranked game we've had this year? I think it is. Depending on which poll you look at, they're ranked close to each other. They're in the high teens, mid to high teens. Ranked versus ranked. That's going to be a good game. I'm excited about that one. That's going to be a good game. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to look forward to. But I'm going to pull the schedule up for a minute. We'll go through it. But Ken AV guy, thank you for hitting the PayPal link this morning, sir. I really appreciate that. He says, got a top riser. Mike Riser he's talking about. Here's his joke for today. He says, my week's so rough that after Monday and Tuesday, even my calendar says WTF. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What the fuck? Have a good morning. Now, on the cheese scale, that one's through the roof. Thank you for the PayPal. Thank you for the joke of the day. The comment section can decide between that and the Mike Riser joke. I mean, it's not for me to say. Not for me to say. Take a look at some of these games. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen for you. There you go. Friday, nothing. Well, no. The best of the two Friday games postponed. Which one of these two teams is ate up with Corona? Is it Memphis? Must be Memphis. I guess it's Memphis. I don't know. Coastal Carolina looking to go 2-0 as they host Soup University. Coastal Carolina fresh off their huge win over Big 12 powerhouse Kansas. But look at these Saturday games. Tulsa at Oklahoma State. Tulsa's not as good as they were 5 or 6 years ago. There was a couple of years where Tulsa was scoring 60 points a game, and I don't know about this now, though. Oklahoma State should win that game easily. I had Oklahoma State in my top 10. I had to bump them out this last week to put Army in. But I think Oklahoma State's a good team. Austin Peay at Cincinnati. You know what? No, I'm not going to say that. Cincinnati's legit, though. And their coach is even more legit. Why is he still there? South Carolina. South Carolina man. Who else? South Carolina man. Who else is underperforming? Somebody better go get this guy. Whoever hires, whatever school hires this guy is moving forward. Fickle? Is that his name? Luke Fickle? Somebody better go get this guy quick, fast, and in a big hurry. How is he still there? I'm just saying. How about Louisiana Lafayette coming in at number 19 on the road at Georgia State? Syracuse at Pittsburgh. Maybe this ends up being a good game. We'll see. How is Houston playing? Oh, yeah, okay. It is Memphis that's 8 up then. Houston at Memphis postponed. It's got to be Memphis because Houston now is playing at Baylor. Shoot. That looks like a pick'em game to me. Oh, here's you some free money. Here's you some free money. Liberty at Western Kentucky. I told you yesterday, as soon as the lines came out on Sunday, I bet 2 games immediately. This was the second one. God is punishing Liberty for the whole Jerry Falwell situation that occurred over the summer. Take Western Kentucky. Lay the points. You're welcome. Navy at Tulane. Boston College at Duke. This could be a close game. I don't know that necessarily means it's a good game. App State at Marshall. This will be a good game. Hell, this might be the second best game of the week. App State at Marshall. I'll have to look at this game. I'm going to tell you right now, if App State is anywhere close to a 7 or 8 point favorite, I'll take Marshall. If it's over a touchdown, I'll probably take Marshall. Marshall could win this game. South Florida at Notre Dame. South Florida's been pretty bad the last couple of years. Charlotte at North Carolina, no thank you. Central Florida at Georgia Tech. Humble yourself. Humble yourself, nerd. Central Florida's coming in to that half a stadium you have. Humble yourself, nerd. Humble yourself. Georgia Tech, I guarantee you Georgia Tech is still celebrating that win over a terrible Florida State team. I guarantee it. Humble yourself, nerd. Here comes Central Florida this week. This is a good game here, too. I actually give Georgia Tech a shot in this game. I liked what I saw from Georgia Tech. Way too many mistakes. Way too many mistakes. If they would have been playing any halfway decent team last Saturday, they'd have got humiliated. They made a lot of mistakes. Red zone turnovers, but we'll see. Florida Atlantic at Georgia Southern. Citadel at Clemson. Troy at Middle Tennessee, SMU North Texas. Here's the game of the week. Miami at Louisville, 17-18, 7:30 on ABC. This line came out on Sunday. Louisville was a 1-point favorite. I jumped all over it immediately. I got it at Louisville -1. I'm gonna check what this is up to now. It's got to be more than 1. I couldn't believe Louisville was only a 1-point favorite. I thought they would be about a 7-point favorite. So I jumped on it at -1. Louisiana Tech at Southern Miss, Texas State at UL Monroe, Wake Forest at NC State, Abilene Christian at UTEP. God, UTEP on TV 2 weeks in a row. What is this? How in the hell? How's that possible? La, 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 la. Let's check the Miami. Let's check the Miami Louisville game and see if that line is moved, and then we'll check the Western Kentucky Liberty line. See if it's moved. Let me pull it up here, and I'll put it up on the screen for you. I got Louisville when the day it came out at I think 1.5. Western Kentucky, I got it at minus 13. Let's see, can we find it here? There we go. I'm pulling it up now. All right, here we go. There we go. All right. I'm not going to go over all these because that's what I'm doing on the 12 o'clock show today with Pete. I just want to look at, I know a lot of you don't care about the betting side anyway. So the Louisville line's already up to minus 2.5. And I know what you're thinking, that's just 1 point. It takes a lot of money to move a line of 1 point. A lot of money. So a lot of people jumped on Louisville early, myself included. I got them at 1.5. It's already up to minus 2.5. It'll probably go, in my opinion, it'll go to 3 or 3.5 by the time the game kicks off. And this one's already up to minus. See, this is a great example. This is a perfect example of why you take something early if you really, really like it. I got Western Kentucky right here at minus 13. Now it's up to minus 14. 14 is a very popular number for games to end in as far as the difference in the score. 21-7, 28-14, 35-21. You get what I'm saying. So 14, it would be a push, right? Western Kentucky wins this game 28-14. I don't win the bet. I just get my money back. That's a push. 28-14 would be a 14-point difference. I have them at minus 14. I would just get my money back if I had it at minus 14. But I don't. I have it at minus 13. So now when Western Kentucky wins by 2 touchdowns, I get paid out. But you have to balance that, betting the game early in the week. You have to balance that with the fact that you don't know what information might come out later in the week. So it's not automatically an advantage to bet a game early in the week. It's a risk involved in anything you do when it comes to betting on these games. But for example, what if we wake up Saturday morning and there's a 100% chance of rain? Well, Western Kentucky loves to sling the ball around. That could slow them down. That would be bad if you were on Western Kentucky. What if you wake up Saturday morning and Western Kentucky's got 10 players out for corona? That's clearly bad. So you're taking a risk either way. You're taking a risk whether you play it early or wait, but you can sometimes get a more favorable line, in my case, minus 13, as opposed to minus 14, if you take it earlier in the week. Not a lot of great games though. Not a lot of great games, in my opinion. North Florida white trash. Jeez. Thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, morning, Lou. Florida's going to have 5 stars all over the field this year. Talent gap closed with UGA. Where? Where are the 5 stars that Florida is going to have? First of all, I'm not disputing the fact that the talent gap is closing. with UGA. Florida's a talented team. But where are all the 5 stars you think you're going to see on the field for Florida this year? Who are they? 3? 3 5 stars. That's all over the field. I know Cox and Lingard. I don't even know who Shorter is. Who the hell is that? What is a Shorter? What is that? I mean, Georgia's got more 5 stars than that just on the offensive line, sir. But this is a huge deal for Mullen, who never gets 5 stars. So that is a huge deal that he somehow managed to get 3 there. I know at least 2 of those kids came from other schools. They weren't recruited by Mullen originally. He's pretty much incapable of recruiting 5 stars out of high school. But he one of those kids is from Georgia. Brenton Cox transferred out of Georgia, and of course Lingard transferred out of Miami. I don't know who Shorter is. Never heard of her. Vector12, thank you for the super chat. He said, did you call and tell him he had to work this morning? Have a good morning. No, I just told Ballard. Yeah, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, y'all know Ballard Sports Media. Ballard Sports Media comes on here sometimes. He has a job, and he didn't show up for work one day last week, and his excuse was, well, no one called me and told me I had to work. Well, sir, there's a schedule on the wall where you work. You know, that's why places put out schedules. But he's a young kid, and I think it was his first job, and he just didn't know any better. Well, we'll find out, I guess. Well, there's no morning show tomorrow, Wednesday, so we'll find out Thursday, I guess, what BVD's excuse was for today. But I'm guessing he probably just overslept. I hope nothing's wrong. I mean, I don't know. Pinecone, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, legend has it that the dumpster fire at the swamp was started with the Olympic torch. What? Huh? Maybe the Slob Olympics torch. That must be what you mean. Well, the problem with Herschel in the Pro Hall of Fame is that there's no such thing as the Pro Hall of Fame. There's an NFL Hall of Fame. But, you know, Herschel's best years were not in the NFL. They were spent in the USFL. So I mean, and I love Herschel, but I don't know that I agree. If you're saying he should be in the NFL Hall of Fame, I don't know about that. If Georgia let fans in, well, they are letting fans in, and you had a ticket, would you go? It would depend on the game. I only go to one game a year anyway. Usually I try to pick whatever game. I would like to, if I was going to go to a game this year, it would be Tennessee or Auburn. And I don't know if I would go. I'm not going because they're only selling 20,000 tickets. So the prices are just through the roof. Oh, I don't know. North Florida White Trash, thank you for the super chat. He says, Gervin Dexter, never heard of that person. Justin Shorter, Lorenzo Lingard, Brenton Cox, Derek Wingo. 2 on offense, 3 on defense. The only of those people that I know is Lingard and Brenton Cox. That's it. I've never heard of the other people. Let's look them up. Derek Wingo. Who is this jabroni? And first of all, before anybody cries, for 5 years on this channel, I've used nothing but 24/7 Sports for consistency. That's where I'm looking. Don't tell me to go look on Rivals or ESPN if these people aren't 5 stars on 24/7. I'm not telling you they aren't 5 stars. I'm just telling you I only use 24/7 just for consistency reasons on the channel. I don't want to call somebody a 5-star today and then a 4-star tomorrow because I'm looking at a different recruiting service. So I only go by 24/7 Sports Composite Index, which is an average of all the recruiting services rankings of a player. So let's look up Derek Wingo. What is this guy's problem? Let me find out. What is this, a linebacker? What does that say? 4-star. Derek Wingo, 4-star. So already. So there you go. Derek Wingo, 4-star. That doesn't mean he's not any good. Most, there's not very many 5. There's only 32 5-stars per recruiting class. That's it. 35 and 16, 35 or 32, 32 and 16, 32 and 17, whatever it is. So just because you're a 4-star doesn't mean you're not any good. Most good players are 4-stars because there are so few 5-stars. I'm just saying he's not a 5-star. He's not. He's a 4-star. He was the 5th ranked outside linebacker. He was the 64th best player in America. So he's a great player, great prospect. But he's not a 5-star. So delete that name off the list for me. Let's see what else you got going on here with your little list. Gervin Dexter. Now, this sounds like somebody who should have went to Georgia Tech. Gervin Dexter? What is this? Wasn't he in Revenge of the Nerds? Gervin Dexter. Defensive tackle. 5-star. Is he going to play? So there's your one. There's one 5-star. You got Britton Cox on the outside. That's 2 5-stars. You got Lorenzo Lingard at running back. That's 3 5-stars. Who else is on this list? Justin Shorter. Who is this? And just because I don't know who they are doesn't mean they're not any good. I don't follow recruiting. So let's see who this person is. Justin Shorter, 5-star. What position is he pretending to play? Wide receiver. Well, he must have had a monster. He must have had a monster year last year. Let's look up his stats. Florida's only 5-star wide receiver must have had just a monster year last year. Let's check and see. What? How in the hell? Oh. Oh, the guy's another with the transfer. Okay, so you have 4 5-stars. 4. You have 4 5-stars. 3 of them transferred in. I'm sorry, but Dan Mullen can't recruit. Confirmed. Confirmed. Let's see what Justin Shorter. Still, he had to have monster stats, though. Let me check him out. Dude's a 5-star. Gotta have just monster stats. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This guy's an absolute beast. 2018, 3 catches for 20 yards. Louis was just a true freshman. Give him a break. Okay, fine. I get it. Or I could compare that to George Pickens' stats his last year when true freshman. But we won't do that. That's not fair. George Pickens is elite. This guy isn't. 2019 stats. So a sophomore now. So this is the year he blows up. Let's see what his stats are. 2019 sophomore 5-star wide receiver Justin Shorter. 12 catches, 137 yards. Yep, Florida's going 19-0. Justin Shorter is the piece that Florida has been missing. But nevertheless, Florida does have 4 or 5 stars. I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter how you acquire them, whether it be by hook or by crook. You know, whether they transfer in or whether they enroll there out of high school. Point is, you somehow tricked 4 of them into showing up there. So that is what it is. Poor Dan Mullen. Somebody in the comment section yesterday with the whole Dan Mullen is elite routine. Okay, fine. And there's probably some people in here that are under that same delusion. I've been asking this question for a year, and I can't even get anyone to try to answer it. Okay? This is for Florida fans only here. Okay? Because and this isn't a troll. I'm honestly curious. I'm honestly curious. I want to know the name of another coach who has been a coach in the Power 5 for 10 or more years and has not won a division title, who you think is as good as Dan Mullen. In other words, you keep telling us how great Dan Mullen is. We keep telling you, well, then win a division title. You keep saying that doesn't matter or making excuses like, well, he's in the SEC. Just name one other coach. Just name one other coach, anywhere in America, in the Power 5 currently, who has been coaching for 10 plus years with not even a division title, who you think is an elite head coach. You think, okay, so I asked Florida fans, Georgia fans are saying Harbaugh. Okay, I actually think that's the closest comparison. I agree. Harbaugh's really the only one I can think of. I don't know that he's been a coach for 10 years yet, though. How long has he been at Michigan? Here we go with the Mississippi State excuses. Sir, Jeremy Fisher, Mississippi State won the division before Dan Mullen got there. Oh, nobody can win a division at Mississippi State, woo. Okay, well, they managed to do it before he got there. And this is also breaking news that just came in. This just came across my desk. He's not at Mississippi State anymore. Now, instead of dodging the question with dumbass excuses like, oh, well, he had to play hard teams, Lou. He was in the SEC West, Lou. He was at Mississippi State. He couldn't recruit, Lou. He can't recruit at Florida. Just name the damn coach. Who else besides Mullen is an amazing head coach like Florida fan keeps telling us? Who else besides Dan Mullen fits that category? Just tell me. Who else has been in the Power 5 for 10 years? Here's your choices. Mike Leach? Is Mike Leach an amazing? Is Mike Leach Dan? Is that what it's who is it? Harbaugh, Mike Leach. Who else? Who? I just want to know. Yeah, James Franklin won the entire Big Ten. Florida won 4 games before he got. Florida also won the division 2 out of 3 years before he got there. Florida won the division in 2 of the 3 years before Mullen got there. James Franklin has won a division and a conference title and a New Year's Six Bowl. Kiffin has not been a Power 5 coach for 10 years. Kirk Ferentz. All right, I'll buy that. You can't expect Kirk Ferentz to win the Big 12. Oklahoma's in the Big 12. You can't expect Dan Mullen to win the West. Alabama's in the West. I guess you can expect Gus Malzahn and Ed Orgeron to win the West, but not Dan Mullen. You can't expect Dan Mullen to win the East. Georgia's in the East. Hey, the breaking news. There's usually a good team in every division. Iowa won a division in 1999. Well, why didn't they play in the? They didn't play in the Big 12 championship game, so they couldn't have won a division in 1999. 1999, it was Nebraska versus Texas in the Big 12 championship game. Maybe Iowa had the same record as one of those two teams, but lost the tiebreaker or something. I don't know. What were they in? So basically, what I'm seeing is that there is no other coach. It's only Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's elite. Even though Dan Mullen's been around for 10 years and has never won a division, he's elite. But there's no other coach that fits that description. It's only Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's the only coach who can coach in the Power 5 for 10 years, not win anything, and be considered elite. Other coaches do it in their What's funny is not even bringing this conversation up at all, finding a random Florida fan and asking them their opinion of Jim Harbaugh. Because they will tell you, oh, he's overrated. The dude's been at Michigan. He can't beat his rival. Does that sound familiar, Florida man? He can't win the division. Does that sound familiar, Florida man? He's been at 2 different schools in 2 different Power 5 conferences and can't win a division. Does that sound familiar, Florida man? The Florida man will go off on Jim Harbaugh, not realizing everything he's saying applies to Dan Mullen. Oh, BVD's here. I'm sorry to any and all of you who might have been worried about me. That's okay. That's what we figured. We were hoping nothing was wrong. We figured you just overslept. We were hoping nothing was wrong. I was trying to ask people if you had said anything at the end of your stream last night about not feeling good or something. You want to come on, or what do you want to do? It's up to you, whatever you want to do. Nate, I considered you an adult when you turned 18. Just saying. I tried to call and you didn't answer. Oh, I see it now. Oh, yeah, good morning.
Boy, I wish I had a really good, tragic excuse to give you, but as it turns out, I was telling them in the comments, I've got this new phone, and I left my new phone in the studio and took my old phone to bed with me and didn't hear the fucking alarm. So John came in and woke me up. Hey, man, the alarm's been going off for 2 hours.
You want to know a secret?
Yeah.
All right.
Here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes.
I deserve it.
It might not be what you think. Well, no, it might not be what you deserve. My kids are on this go to school every other day routine thing here. And today is the day they go to, what's today? Tuesday. So they go Tuesday and Thursday this week.
Right.
Me and Mrs. Lou both went to bed last night, and neither one of us set an alarm. Our kids are supposed to be at school at 6:45. We didn't wake up until 7.
Right.
Today. So we overslept too.
So it turns out you're human too. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Now,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was here. I was on the show on time, but but that's only because but yeah, we usually we were normally we would set the alarm for 6 when the kids have to be at school. Get up, get them up, make sure they get dressed and breakfast.
I bet that has screwed your all's routine up.
There is no such thing as a routine here anymore. I was talking to
Oh,
Mrs.
okay.
Lou about this the other day. It's really starting to bother me too. I need a routine. I need structure.
I know you always talk about how you're a creature of habit, and
Yeah.
probably to get out of a routine for you is probably irritating as shit.
Well, yeah, and it takes me a long time to establish a routine, and now it's gone now. Because this has been going on here since the middle of March. They sent the kids home from school last March, middle of March, and they didn't go back the entire school year. And then the summer is always weird because they're here all the time. They don't have to get up and go to school. And even this year at school, not only are they on an every other day thing, it changes every week. So like this week they go Tuesday and Thursday, but next week they go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, last week was Labor Day. So school was closed Monday. They were supposed to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday that week. So the week before, they were on Tuesday, Thursday. So follow me here. So they went Tuesday and Thursday. They then didn't go Friday because that was their off day on the rotation. They were supposed to go back Monday. They didn't because of Labor Day. They were off school Tuesday because they were Monday, Wednesday, Friday that week. So they were out of school from one Wednesday to the next in the middle of the school year, an entire week off for no reason.
Man,
And then
I
this
wonder how
week
many-
starts, and you got to try to figure out, okay, is this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or is it Tuesday, Thursday? Okay, it's Tuesday, Thursday.
Does their school send you guys voicemails or anything like that, letting you know of any changes or anything like that?
Emails.
Oh,
They do
see,
email.
They actually here. Well, I don't know if they do now. This is Kayla's second year out of school, but her high school they actually called the parents, and it was a recorded message, of course. But anything that got changed, they would call and leave a message, which I thought was really cool.
They have a phone system here. It's been here forever. That's automated. That if your child is not at school or is late, you get an automated call that says your child at blah 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 school was absent today, and that's just to let parents know if their kid is skipping or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Well, I'm glad
and
they
that's
didn't
an
have that
automated.
shit when we were in school. You ever skip school when you were in school?
I never.
Or were you-
Well, my senior year, there's a traditional senior skip day.
Right.
But that's almost not even skipping because you don't even have to hide that from your parents or your teachers. Like they just know the seniors aren't coming to school tomorrow. Other than that, there was there was a couple of times where maybe at the end of the day there was a Burger King right down the road from our school, and sometimes we would, depending on what class you had last period and if you played football or not, you could get away with skipping your last class.
Well, I do have good news.
What's that?
Celine Driver is going to be on the show Friday.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. He says he's got, he emailed and asked if he could be on the show again. I told him Thursday or Friday. Either one would be good. Pick a day. He said Friday, special day. It is a special day, Celine Driver. Very special day. My daughter turns 20 on the 18th. So whatever your special day is Friday, I guess we'll find out Friday.
Well, I'll see if I can get TK to come on then.
Oh, boy.
Since the whole Jeff thing fell through.
Good luck with that.
You don't think she'll do it?
I'm not a gambling man like you and Pete. I think maybe you guys ought to put odds on that tomorrow. Or today. Today, actually. That's right. Today's Tuesday. But if I were a betting man, I would lay the farm on no. She's not going to come in.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do.
You see what you can do.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. So what did I miss? I heard the semi rant about Mississippi State and Dan Mullen, and So
Yeah,
what
that
is?
we really all football. We talked nothing but football today, really.
'Tis the season.
When there's not really anything going on, that's like the fallback. I don't really. I mean, I can. You can sit me down in a room and tell me to talk about football and come back 4 hours later and I'll still be talking. You know, so
Yeah,
if there's nothing
we've
going on,
noticed
I
that.
just talk football.
Hmm.
I can always come up with something to talk about there.
You're good like that. I can always come up with something to talk about, but it's not always football anymore. Used
Right.
to be like that. Used to be like that, but not anymore. The Vols have beaten the I don't know what you call it. They've beaten the football talk constantly
Well,
out of me.
they beat the passion out of you is what they did, and
And I didn't want to say that, but
unfortunately, the crutch that you had has now been yanked out from underneath you. How does that
okay.
feel, by the way?
It feels terrible actually.
Yeah.
I'm a limping man with no crutches.
Right. Because the crutch you had is gone now
Right. Temporarily.
because Greenville sucks.
They do. Damn it.
Yeah. You
they'll get
used to
better.
be able to come you used to be able to come on here and talk about high school football to the 4 people that were interested and
look,
talk
look,
about
look,
how
look. It
good the
was
high
6
school team
people.
was that you liked, and now they can't win a damn game. They're 0-3.
Now they're 1-2.
A win of a forfeit doesn't count.
I know. Well, it does, but I know it don't. They'll pick it up Friday. I got faith.
Somebody told me a lie. They said Greenville can't win a game, but somehow they're the 12th best team in Tennessee.
That's true.
That's
They are. They are 12th.
and that, my friend, is one of the reasons why Tennessee has struggled as a program over the last 15 years. If a winless team is the 12th best high school team in the state of Tennessee, you have no recruiting pool.
I see what you're saying, and you are right. The problem is there's just not, and maybe I'm saying this. I'm probably saying the same thing you just said. I'm just saying it differently. At least in 4A, there's not enough good teams across the state to replace when a team that's been good for years all of a sudden is back to normal. There's just not. There's only, I would struggle to say 10 really good 4A programs in this state, and that is bad.
Yeah.
But we're a rural state, so.
Another college team that has really hurt for a long, long time is South Carolina.
Yeah.
And
they just always
now
suck.
Clemson has been able to get past that a couple of times with some really good coaching hires. You know, coaches that can get things headed the right direction to the point where, and Tennessee did this in the 90s and the mid 2000s, but you know, Tennessee was able to go out and get the best player in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The best player in South Georgia, and you still get Georgia players. A lot of people get Georgia players, but the thing about Georgia high school now, and this was not the case 20 years ago. Georgia's at worst the 4th best high school football state in America right now. That's helping Georgia.
How would you rank them right now?
I think Florida remains on the top. I'm not a recruiting expert, so there might be somebody in the comments who says, well, X amount of 4 and 5 stars came out of this state versus that state. I can't argue with that because I'm not a recruiting guy, so I don't know the numbers. But when I think high school football today, I still think Florida won. I think
agree.
Texas close, California close, but Georgia's the next one.
It's after that it gets kind of dicey.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of argument to be had at like 5 through 10 if you want to rank the states in terms of high school competition. But
I wouldn't even know who to put at number 5. Those have just always been the 4 states, that everybody talks about when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah. I know Louisiana is probably somewhere in the top 10.
Ohio is usually pretty
Ohio is probably somewhere in the top 10. Maybe
Shit.
Arizona. I don't know. You know, I read an interesting article. It's been a year or two ago now about the rise of Georgia high school football over the last 20 years and just how much better overall high school football is in Georgia today than it was 20, 25 years ago, and trying to figure out the reasons why that is. And this particular person had a theory or came to the conclusion, and they had all kinds of numbers in the article, population numbers and different. I wish I could find this article. Anyway, they credit the 1996 Olympics with the huge, whatever you want to call it, boom in Georgia high school football that occurred 15 years to 20 years after that. They had all these numbers that
Did they explain?
so many people, thousands of people moved to the state of Georgia between like 92 and 96 when the Olympics were announced. They were going to be in Atlanta, and thousands of people moved to Atlanta specifically, but Georgia in particular. And the population just exploded from 92 to 96 in preparation of the Olympics. And a lot of those people stayed permanently. And a lot of those people, because they were involved with the Olympics some type of way, maybe they weren't Olympians, but they were athletic people in general. In other words, let's say I play football my whole life. I'm not good enough to play in the NFL. I might go out, so I might try to go out and get a job sports related. Look at broadcasting, all that kind of stuff. It's littered with ex-players. So these are athletic people. Those people then got married to each other in Atlanta and had athletic children. It was a very interesting article. I wish I could find it because they have all these numbers about the populations of certain places in 1992 versus 1996 and how much it grew. And they credit the Olympics.
I mean, that makes sense. I hope it has nothing to do with the Olympics, but I hope that has some kind of effect. The population boom that is on Tennessee, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Nashville and that whole mid-state area is one of the fastest growing areas in the country.
Yeah, Tennessee's been one of the fastest growing states over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah. Travis Foskey in the comments several minutes ago.
Oh, I know.
DVD, I saw a post where Tennessee will go 9-1 this season. What are your thoughts? No.
I'm going to tell you that's insane because.
I mean, anything's possible, Lou.
Are there any Alabama fans that are willing to bet real money that Alabama will go 10-0? Because playing 10 SEC games in a row,
that's rough.
That is rough.
That's why we haven't been doing it.
And before anybody, Alabama would go 20-0. I know, I get it. But Nick Saban's been there 14 years now. How many years out of those 14 has he even gone 8-0 against the SEC?
Is it one?
Well, no, I think it's more. I think it's more. It's only once. It's only once or twice he's gone undefeated for the entire season. But there's been several years he was 8-0 in the SEC and then lost maybe a playoff game or whatever. But But it's less than half. You know, it's not like he goes 8-0 in the SEC every year is what I'm saying. Why? Not because not because doesn't have the best team. He clearly almost every year has the best team in the SEC. Mm-hmm. It's hard to win. It's hard to win 3 or 4 SEC games in a row. Every year when I do those 30-minute prediction videos, I look for 3-game stretches where someone's playing 2 or 3 good games in a row. And almost every time I'll pick that team to lose one of those games, even if they're better than all 3 of those teams individually. Mm-hmm. Very hard. And you can apply that to the other conferences too. They're just not, I mean, the SEC is the best conference. I don't even think that's up for debate, but apply it to the Big Ten. If the Big Ten were to play 10 Big Ten games in a row, it'd be hard for Ohio State to go undefeated. if Clemson, I think it's going to be hard for Clemson to go undefeated. And they're clearly the best team in the ACC. But you don't have that 1 week where now Clemson's playing the Citadel this coming week. After that, all ACC games the rest of the way. It's not easy when you don't have, it's going to be tough for anybody to go undefeated. So the idea that Tennessee could go 9-1, no.
Yeah.
I don't know that Georgia can go 9-1. I'm just being honest. Look at Georgia's schedule. Yeah, we open up at Arkansas, but ask yourself this, especially if you're not a Georgia fan, and if you are, try to be realistic. Look at Georgia's second, third, and fourth games. Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama. Now, could Clemson beat those 3 teams in a row?
Well, sure.
Could Ohio State beat those 3 teams in a row?
Sure they could.
I don't know.
They could. Whether or not they would, would depend on a lot of things, especially in this year. We've been talking about this for months now, How many kids are going to have the Rona? Which ones are they?
Yeah, well, yeah, and even forget all that just for the purposes of this conversation, because then anybody could lose any game under those circumstances. But the point I'm trying to make is when you're playing week after week after week after week after week without a significant drop in talent across the field from you, it's hard to go undefeated. Very hard. I mean, I mentioned those are just 3 games in a row Georgia has: Auburn, Tennessee, Bama. But that's not to mention at South Carolina. Are we better than South Carolina? Of course we are. But this just in. We were better than South Carolina last year, weren't we? Yes.
Oh, 4 touchdowns probably.
And we got beat. We got caught napping.
If you guys could have scored 4 touchdowns last year.
We got caught napping and got beat. It can happen. We have to play at South Carolina, Kentucky, not a pushover. We've had their number. I like our chances in that game. And I haven't even mentioned yet the Florida game. So I don't know how much money I would bet that Georgia even goes 9-1. And Tennessee's schedule is harder.
Yeah, there's a real possibility, Mr. Foskey, that Tennessee could start the year 1-2. Hell, I mean, I don't see it happening, but I don't know. I'd probably jump off a damn bridge.
I mean, if Georgia's offensive line ends up not being any good and the quarterback situation is a disaster, Georgia's going to start 1-3. I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, I don't care how. I mean, Georgia's great. They're a top 5 program right now. You don't just look at Georgia versus Auburn and go, "Oh, we're going to win that one." Not worried about that. I mean, I think we're better than Auburn. We get them at home. Again, we've beat Auburn something like 13 out of the last 16 times. I like our chances. I like our chances individually, even against Alabama. I mean, if you just, you start comparing rosters and talent and position matchup, but that's not the point. The point is week after week after week after week after week.
I think we've talked about this before, but do most coaches get do they get what the hell's the word? Do they get a break, we'll just call it, if they have a worse season this year than expected?
I think they do. Like the Will Muschamp is the prime example. Prior to coronavirus and all the changes, I was convinced this was going to be Will Muschamp's last year in Columbia. And it still might be. We'll keep an eye on this off the field thing with those 11 or 12 players. If that story blows up, that could be a reason to get rid of Muschamp at the end of the year. But generally speaking, I think most coaches are going to be given a pass at the end of this year. There's just too many built-in excuses of why you struggled, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
We had players out for 2 games. We had no spring practice. We couldn't even physically work with the players from March to July. So I think a team would have to have an epically bad year, plus maybe some off the field issues.
Let's take Jeremy Pruitt, for example. Looking at our schedule, all right, South Carolina, Missouri, Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama. In my personal opinion, there is not a guaranteed win on those first 5 games until you get to Arkansas, which comes after a bye week after Alabama. Now, yeah, we should beat South Carolina. We're better than them. But we struggled against Will Muschamp. Missouri should beat them. They got a new coach. Georgia speaks for itself. Kentucky, who knows? This year especially. Kentucky's been close. You know, they've been close every year for the last 10, 12 years to beating Tennessee, even beat us. Is it once in there? Maybe twice. Hell, I can't remember. Alabama, duh. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there's that possibility.
And
so Tennessee starts 1-5. Does Jeremy Pruitt survive that?
Probably.
I guess it would depend on how he does on his last 5 games.
Yeah.
Which are Texas, Auburn.
I mean, he was sort of in that boat last year.
Last 4 games, my bad.
You know what I mean? I mean, it started epically. Yeah. I mean, they lost their first 2, then won 1, then lost what? 4? 3? 3.
2. They started out 1-4.
Yeah. So, I mean, but here's the other thing that makes it so hard to figure this out at the end of the year. You look at a team and the win column's going to say 6. Well, under normal circumstances for most teams, that's not acceptable. But this year, 6 wins this year is equivalent to 8 or so in a normal year, because most teams are scheduling 2 guaranteed wins that you now don't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a 12-game schedule. So if you go 6-4 in 10 SEC games, that's not worthy of being fired, is it? No. Now, and also it depends on the team. Arkansas goes 0-10. They're not firing their coach, first-year guy.
All right.
Least talented team in the SEC. Georgia goes 0-10. There's, people are going to have a lot of questions. So it depends, too, on expectations. But
Georgia goes 0-10. Kirby's gone.
Yeah.
Unless
I don't think he would get 0-10. Yeah. I don't think he would get 0-10.
Yeah.
That would mean something had seriously fallen off the rail. Unless we have 60 players with corona. That would be the only thing that would save them, would be coronavirus.
You guys get 60 players with coronavirus. They're shutting you down for the rest of the
year.
Right.
Yeah. So I just think it's going to be hard to look at a coach at the end of this year and go, you didn't live up to expectations. We're going to go a different direction. If you're looking at it from a purely football point of view. Now, again, if you have a situation like at South Carolina, and I still don't know what, if that ends up being a huge story and somebody did something wrong, and then that gives an athletic department a reason then to fire somebody, even though, coronavirus. You could say, well, yeah, we'll give you a break that you went 3-7, but you swept all this under the rug, or you did this, or you did that, whatever, depending on whatever the off-field issue happens to be. I could see a change happening there, but I just think, generally speaking, I don't know what take the Power 5, there's approximately 60 teams. Let's say in an average year, and I don't know what the number is, but let's say in an average year, there are 10 new coaches in the Power 5. I think that number will be less next year. Whatever the average number is, I think it will be less next year, the turnover.
Yeah. What was it? Vodka Drinker makes a good point. He says, hell, I don't take Arkansas for granted. I can remember they actually should have beaten Bama in 14, and that team sucked. Yeah, this year especially, I think we've already saw a couple of considerable upsets. I don't know how huge of an upset the Kansas State loss was this weekend. I mean, obviously it was an upset. But that Iowa State game, unless they turn out to just be absolute dog shit, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Right.
And they could. I mean, they could go 0 and whatever. I'd be shocked if they did. Going to be definitely going to be an interesting year for sure.
Yeah.
Aside from the obvious reasons.
Vector 12, thank you for the super chat. He says, I'm halfway relieved for BVD. Wow, we have a nice community here. BVD, I'm glad you're okay.
Forgiving lot, aren't they?
Yeah. Your roommate's been in here all day today, too. He's got another super chat. He says, I told you I would get him up for you. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Brian Biak says, settle down, big guy. Remember, it's a great day to be alive. Did you know the sun's still shining when you close your eyes? I did know that.
Me too. Who was it that told us that first?
Travis Tritt.
Yep, that's right. And
He was even considering growing a Fu Manchu.
He had a quarter.
Yeah.
Was willing to give it to anybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, not anybody. Well, yeah, he was willing to give it to anybody. They couldn't call just anybody, though.
Right.
They had to call someone that cared, and it's hard to find those types of people.
Oh, yeah. There's some.
Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, the brilliant Miami fan base already calling for Handy Manny's head after just the first game, and we won. What are they mad about, I wonder? See, that's weird. I do that with Georgia. Like, you know, the fact that Georgia wins a game isn't what impresses me or not. It's how they play. It's whatever I happen to be looking for. But it's hard for me to apply that same logic to other teams. Like, I read Slim's comment, and I tend to agree with him. What would they be mad about? They won. But then I have to remember, I'm not always happy when we win either. So, you know, it could be if you're a Miami fan and you were looking for improvement in some particular area and you didn't see it, you're still really mad, like pass blocking, you know, or whatever, because they were pretty bad, and they look pretty bad again. So, I don't know. I mean, when you play UAB, you expect to win, right? So
Yeah,
just winning,
UAB.
right? So just winning doesn't make me happy. You know, I have this problem with Georgia where I can't watch a Georgia game and apply what I see only to that game. I constantly have something down the road. Like when we play at Arkansas, you know, if we don't blow them out, you know, if we don't score 3 touchdowns in the second half, I'm going to say, see, we got to play at Alabama. Here we go. Can't score in the second half. What do you think's going to happen when we get to Alabama? So I have that affliction where I can't enjoy what's happening now. I only can apply what I see now to what I might see down the road against a better team.
That's crazy that you say that, because right now I'm actually the opposite of that with Tennessee. When I see something bad, you know, instead of saying, okay, I see Alabama down the road, here we go, I look back and say, damn, we're still doing this? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I look forward to the days where I look forward.
Yeah. I mean, last year, Georgia's opening game at Vandy is a prime example. We're in a similar situation this year. Last year, our first game was on the road at Vandy, worst team in the East. This year, our first game on the road at Arkansas, worst team in the West. Well, we were up 21-0 at Vandy at halftime. Okay. I saw some things I liked. I saw some things I didn't like. I still thought even during the first half, I still thought the passing game looked very elementary. That was disappointing. We come out in the second half and score 0 touchdowns with the starters. We didn't take the starters out in an SEC game up 3 touchdowns. The starters were in. We couldn't score a touchdown. We scored 2 field goals in the second half. And I went nuts. And people, look at this guy. He's never happy. He's an idiot. Georgia fans, you just be happy we won. No. The idea that you should just be happy you won against Vandy is ridiculous when you're a top 5 team. And that's what Georgia was last year. That's insane. I could watch that Vandy game week 1. I watched the second half of that game, and all of the offensive issues that now everyone agrees that Georgia had were obvious in the second half of that Vandy game. The fact that we won the game didn't change that. We struggled throwing the ball last year. Jake Fromm did not improve last year. Our offense was very basic and vanilla last year. All of those things were evident in the second half of the first game of the year. And it did not change for the remainder of the year. Teams that we were way more talented than, we lined up and pushed them around by running the same 4 or 5 plays over and over again, just like we've been doing for 3 years straight. Vandy, Mizzou, Kentucky, Tennessee. Now, we also beat a couple of good teams during the season. Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M was okay. But watch those games. The defense won those games.
Mm-hmm. If you guys had an average defense last year, what do you think your record would have been?
Regular season.
I know that's a ridiculous.
Regular season would have been 9-3. We'd have lost to Notre Dame, Florida, and Auburn. We barely beat Notre Dame. Michigan, keep in mind, same Notre Dame that lost to Michigan. What was it, 45-10 or whatever? I mean, they got blown out by Michigan. We beat them like 21-19 or some weird, whatever it was, 23-17. We couldn't score. Now they couldn't score either because our defense was the best in America, but we couldn't do anything. Kentucky, we couldn't score. Auburn, we couldn't score. Vanderbilt, we scored 27 points against Vandy. We scored less than that against Florida, less than that against Auburn, less than that against LSU, less than that against South Carolina. Tennessee, I think, was the only SEC team we scored more points on than Vandy.
Yeah.
Like, we did not have a good offense. What did we average, 25 points a game? I mean, that's not, in 2020? Come on.
That's getting you a win over Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Now, we only gave up, whatever it was, 7 points a game or whatever. That's why we won. Nothing to do with the offense.
You guys went pretty deep into the year, didn't you, before you gave up a rushing touchdown?
The Auburn game, which was the middle of November, was the first rushing touchdown we gave up, and that was to Bo Nix. We didn't give up a rushing touchdown to a running back all year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. What's on your agenda for later today, Lou?
I got the Lunch Money Show coming up with Pete at noon, which for those of you that have been watching that, thank you. And we're doing a contest today. A lot of you I know are into this fantasy football thing. We're gonna do FanDuel. For those of you that know, it's like DraftKings. There's two big ones. There's DraftKings and FanDuel. We decided to do FanDuel because it's easier to set up a private league or whatever for just us and the viewers. I don't know anything. This is Pete's thing. I've never done DraftKings or FanDuel. So for those of you that have, you know more about it than I do. But it's basically fantasy football, BBD. But instead of drafting a team at the beginning of the year, and that's your team all year long, you draft every week.
Oh.
So the games are on Thursday. So you have, and it's not just one draft for the entire league. In other words, I can draft who's the best quarterback. I can draft Lamar Jackson. So can you. So can the next guy. Everybody can draft Lamar Jackson if they want to. You have a certain amount of money assigned. Everybody is the same, whatever it is. And every player is worth a certain amount.
Right. Now, I would enjoy that.
So let's say it's 50. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's $50. And the amount of money you have has nothing to do with the amount of money you put into your FanDuel account. This is totally separate. The players are assigned a value. And when you get ready to draft, it's basically like a salary cap thing.
Yeah.
Let's say you have 100 points to draft with. Lamar Jackson might be 15 points. Okay, you can take him. Or you can take Patrick Mahomes for 12 points. And you have to make a decision. And if you spend a lot of points on quarterback and running back, maybe you have to take a wide receiver 2 instead of taking Julio Jones. Does that make sense what I'm saying? You have a cap to work with.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
they're trying to make it as much like. I guess they're trying to make it as much like real scenarios as
right,
possible, maybe.
yeah,
And I don't understand jack about fantasy football. Never have.
yeah, and we're doing some kind of a $2 thing where I think there's 20 people that can get in the league, and Pete's got the password and all that for. So that's what we're going to do on the show today. We're going to give that out, and whoever wants to join our FanDuel league that's watching during the noon show can join the FanDuel. So I'll give a heads up to those of you that are watching now, because I've done things like this in the past, and they fill up real quick, and then there's a lot of people that said, oh, man, I didn't get in time. If you're considering doing this with me and Pete, download the FanDuel app now before 12 and have it already installed and everything and ready to go on your phone, so that when Pete gives out the league name and password or whatever you need to join the league, you're ahead of the curve. You don't have to take 10 minutes to then download the app, because you might not get in if you do that. I don't know how many people, for all I know, nobody will join. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're considering doing it, I would get the app and everything ready to go on your phone. FanDuel is the one we're using. There's two. There's DraftKings. There's probably more than two, but there's two really big ones. It's FanDuel and DraftKings. Pete explained to me why it is we're using FanDuel, but I don't really. It has something to do with doing a private league. It's easier on FanDuel, or it allows more player, or whatever the case. I don't know. He'll explain it at noon. Like I said, he's been doing this for a while. I've never done it before, actually, FanDuel or DraftKings. So it'll be my first time too. And I think we're going to do $2 a week. So, if you want to get in on the league, if we do get 20 players in, that's potentially $40. I guess somebody could win. It only cost you $2. So it's mostly just for fun. We're not talking about a lot of money here, but if you guys are into that kind of thing and you enjoy the lunch show and you watch it anyway, go ahead and download the FanDuel app, and when Pete gives the login information out during the show today, you guys can get yourself signed up. So we're going to talk about that today, and I think the Big 12 games. Well, what we've been doing is like Big 12 games on Tuesday, ACC games on Thursday. So that's probably what we'll do again this week. And then once they add the SEC in, we'll switch it up. So probably talk about the Big 12 today, and then the FanDuel thing. And then I have the night show tonight at 10, which is always great to look forward to. Lou Jr. has a soccer game tonight at 7, so I'll get back home around 8:30 or 9, get out here just in time to fire things up for the college football call-in show tonight at 10 p.m.
You got a pretty busy day ahead, too.
Tuesdays and Thursdays have been, I do the 3 live shows now, so Tuesdays and Thursdays have been pretty busy. I probably won't do a video today on my main channel, but I'll have one tomorrow and Thursday. I'll do a Big 12 preview, an ACC preview, all that kind of stuff. So, but probably not. I won't do one today.
As soon as we end this show here, I am hopping in the car, going up here and renting a car, driving to Raleigh, North Carolina tonight, so we can get up early in the morning, go to the courthouse over there, and let John take care of some old fines, and then hit the road back here, so I can be back here in time for my 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So
you have to drive your roommate to another state?
Yep.
Why can't he pay those fines? He can't pay those fines online?
Nope. They have 2 options: showing up in person or mailing them. And I kind of don't blame him for not wanting to mail it, because, that's going to take forever for them to get it, acknowledge it, send him back a receipt.
Well, here's
it's
the thing.
ridiculous.
If it was me and I had a car, I would drive there and do it.
Right.
If it was my roommate and he had an option to mail it, I'm not driving him there.
Oh, sorry
that would fall into the category of that's on him as far as me. But again, I'm not as nice as you, I guess. I don't know, but no way I would drive my roommate to another state to pay a fine if mailing it in was an option.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah, Rob Dog makes an interesting point too. They're most likely just going to arrest him when you get there. You know why? I hear what you're saying. Oh, he just has to pay. What kind of fines is it?
I have no idea. They're old.
Yeah, it's but the whole you have to come here thing. Guess what?
Damn, Rob. That's interesting.
It's a trap!
It's a trap, sir.
It's a trap!
Well, that's what he wants to do. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So,
Sir, you have some fines, are 7 years old, and some legal matters that need you to take care of. Everything's fine. But we do need you to come in to the jail to pay those fines.
it's a trap.
Everything's fine, though. Everything's fine.
Well, hell, this could turn out to be an even better day than suspected.
Well, I don't know what his experiences in life are, but if you really are a friend, make sure he has on clean, all white underwear, white socks, and a white thermal underwear shirt. You know what I'm talking about? What is that stuff called?
Yeah, well, long johns.
Long johns.
They call them.
Yeah, make sure he's wearing long johns, even though it might be too hot for it. Make sure he's wearing long johns. Another trick, too, he can wear 4 or 5 pair of white socks.
Yeah, depending on what they allow you to have. Here it's 3.
Okay. I would suggest he wear 3 white undershirts, 2 all white long sleeve long john shirts, and a couple of pair of clean all white underwear. That would be what I would suggest that he wear today when he goes to another city in another state to pay a bunch of old fines at the jail that they told him he has to come there and pay in person.
It's a trap. That's probably your best button right there.
And will you bring cash?
No.
You're not going to put anything on his books?
No.
Okay, forget everything I said about being a good friend. You're not going to put anything on that man's books when they take him in?
Not out of my pocket.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Tell him the routine ahead of time. Let him give you $100 or something that you can hold. That way, when they slap the silver bracelets on him, you can go. They got the computer machine there, I'm sure. You can go in there and put $100 on the books for him. Let the man have some pork rinds and ramen noodles.
Actually, appreciate you guys bringing that to my attention. I didn't think about that at all. Of course, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, it's been an ongoing thing for years. We've been friends literally for life, always been willing to help to an extent. So, I got friends over there anyway, so it'd be nice to see a couple of friends for a couple hours. It's a trap! It's a trap! All right, Lou, I gotta get out of here. I'll let you know sometime tomorrow morning.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for stopping by for a few minutes this morning.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right, it's good to hear from you today.
Yep, I do my best, sir.
All right, have a good morning.
You guys have a great day.
All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, too. Appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. Man, I'm not going to lie. Scale of 0 to 10, I'm going to put today's show around a 3. Just going to be honest. I was rushed all morning, like I mentioned before, because kids were late getting off to school today. And anytime I feel rushed in the morning, it messes me up for the whole day. So apologize for having such a terrible show today. I do appreciate those of you that stuck around, though, and put up with it anyway. I can only assume that it's because the comment section must have been a lot of fun today because the show was terrible. I take full responsibility for that, and I promise that on Thursday morning, I will do my absolute best to provide you guys with a much better show. I promise. And you can take that kind of to the bank, sort of. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat. It says, problem with Miami fans is they have the same expectations as UGA to make the playoffs and make a run. Unrealistic. I do think that's a little unrealistic for Miami fans. I think Miami fans' goal right now should be to make the ACC title game. Because the thing is, if you get there, you have a chance to win. It doesn't matter how much better Clemson might be. If you get to any particular game, there's a chance. And right now, that should be what Miami is shooting for. Not playoffs and national titles. That's just that is very unrealistic right now for Miami. Anyway, I appreciate all of you tuning in. I'll see you hopefully at noon for the Lunch Money Show with me and Pigskin Pete. Until then, I hope you guys have an incredible morning. Thank you.